I'll get back to you, Honorable Ruku. Mheshimiwa Kibagende, what do you want to say? Please.
You know, the president, first, before he relieved Honorable Muturi of his duties, one evening during Iftar, he said his AG was incompetent. He's gone on to say he was further an incompetent CS in the Department of Public Service. The president in the past has demonstrated that his cabinet, his PSS, one time he called them to State House, and chairman of parastatals and CEOs and DGs of state corporations, and he told them he seems to understand more than they do in their various departments. What does that tell you? It tells you that the president has an affinity to appoint and attract incompetency. He's a president who is obsessed with nominating and appointing incompetent people to office. Honorable Ruku here is my very good friend that I've known for over 20 years. One thing I can tell you about Honorable Ruku, he's an excellent member of parliament in terms of legislation and representing his people. The only unfortunate thing is his obsession with this regime that has really oppressed Kenyans. And he hardly can speak truth when that time comes. I've been on TV with him before, and he continually defends even the indefensible. You've seen today he was struggling to even tell us why the Kenya Defense Forces are in our streets. And these are some of the things we are telling Kenyans. This is an incompetent government. The president has told us this before, that he has an incompetent cabinet, incompetent permanent secretaries. Yet I know there are people actually in the cabinet, there are people who are permanent secretaries and secretaries in government and various other departments who are genuinely competent. But when the president gave them a blanket cover that they are incompetent, and he demonstrates that his AG was incompetent, yes, yet I know the AG told the president that the housing levy is illegal. That is the advice he gave. But the president used his schemes to ensure that it actually passed in parliament. The AG told the president that the placement of Kenya Medical Training College students through CUPS, through the Kenya Universities and Central Placement Service, is illegal. The president forced that. It is still happening. It is against the law.
How do you know this to be a fact?
It is a fact. It is there. Even there is a court order that was given sometime in 20...
The advice. The advice is to the...
You know, like that one, like now the one for KMTC, I sit in the health committee and I'm aware of what we've demanded from the ministry. They produced that. The housing levy, the AG himself said on TV, before he was relieved of his duties, he said it is illegal and have advised us as such. He has gone on the various regulations that we passed, the acts we passed around SHA. The AG, Muturi, again, had demonstrated his reservations on certain clauses in those in the various bills that we were trying to pass in parliament. Also. And even the Adani issue, he advised. So who is incompetent here? Who is incompetent here? We need to be genuine. Sometimes we need to ask the president the hard questions. Yesterday, I was listening to the Hekaya za Bunwasi by the president.
What is that?
When he was telling us stories, how he was asked for 10 billion.
Sorry, what is Hekaya za Bunwasi?
Hekaya za Bunwasi is stories ajaba. You know, the stories people tell in the hood. That don't really make sense.
Where were you listening? Where were you hearing them?
I was trying to make sense of what the president was saying. Because, look here.
You're talking about the interview?
Pardon?
You're talking about the TV interview?
The TV interview. I was listening to the president, and he does not realize he's talking to Kenyans. Kenyans are extremely informed. So he needs to come to that realization, that he was asked for 10 billion. You know, there was a rumor. I used to be an advisor in the office of the deputy president. And there was a rumor that he had demanded from Uhuru Kenyatta 5 billion shillings for him to support Uhuru Kenyatta. We never took it serious. So the president, when he sits, he needs to know first, Kenyans don't believe him. Kenyans don't trust him. That is why we have a Gazette notice.
I mean,
look here.
How do you say that as a blanket statement?
That is why we have the military.
Is it a section of Kenyans or it's
It is Kenyans across the board. That is why when you see people saying Ruto must go at Nyayo Stadium, you see them in Isiolo, you see that in Kisii, you see that in Kisumu, you see that it means it is the whole country. You can also see that online. It has been demonstrated, and that is why he is unable to ask for removal of the Gazette notice that is giving the military an opportunity for them to be in our streets. That is why we are saying here today he has not even called for the account. We need him to be accountable for the children that have disappeared. And one thing that I picked from yesterday's interview is that the president said he has disbanded the police unit that was doing those things. That was unfortunate. So the president knows there was a police unit that was abducting and killing our children. The president knows that there was something that was happened and he never did anything. Now he's stepping into Mount Kenya, one of his biggest ethnic bases that gave him the opportunity to try and hoodwink them one more time. I know the mountain people pretty well. They are very truthful, like Rigathi Gachagua is truthful. Mountain people, when they promise you they'll give you something, when they promise you they'll give you something, they actually do. Okay. They promised Ruto they would. Now they've said he has to go, and I can tell you there's no effort. There's no effort. And even when we were watching TV last night, the few who were being interviewed, they said,